The Second Punic War, a brutal clash between Rome and Carthage, gave rise to one of history's most extraordinary military leaders, Hannibal Barca. Hannibal's campaigns were defined by boldness, strategic brilliance, and an unrelenting drive to bring Rome to its knees. Among his many victories, the Battle of Cannae stands as a crowning achievement, a tactical masterpiece studied by military strategists to this day. In this video, we'll delve into the gripping story of Hannibal's triumph at Cannae. We'll explore his life, his army's daring march into the heart of Roman territory, and the fateful day when his outnumbered forces annihilated a massive Roman army. More than just a history lesson, this is a tale of resilience, ingenuity, and the profound impact of one man's vision on the course of history. To understand the significance of the Battle of Cannae, we must first examine the context in which it occurred. By the mid-3rd century BCE, Rome was the dominant power in the western Mediterranean, having defeated Carthage in the First Punic War. However, the peace was tenuous, and tensions between the two powers soon reignited. At the heart of this conflict was Hannibal, a man destined to challenge Rome's supremacy in ways no one could have foreseen. Hannibal Barca was born in 247 BCE in Carthage, a city-state situated in modern-day Tunisia. From an early age, Hannibal was immersed in military culture. His father, Hamilcar Barca, was a renowned general who led Carthaginian forces during the First Punic War. Hamilcar instilled in young Hannibal an unyielding hatred for Rome, a sentiment symbolized by the famous oath Hannibal swore as a boy to remain Rome's eternal enemy. Carthage was a mercantile power with a navy that dominated the Mediterranean. Unlike Rome's citizen soldier armies, Carthage relied heavily on mercenaries, employing diverse groups such as Iberians, Gauls, and Numidians. Hannibal's ability to command a multi-ethnic force would later become a cornerstone of his success. His genius lay in harmonizing these disparate groups into a cohesive and disciplined army, a feat few commanders could achieve. Hannibal's early military career began under his father and continued under his brother-in-law Hasdrubal the Fair. By the time Hannibal assumed command of Carthaginian forces in Iberia, modern Spain, in 221 BCE, he was a seasoned leader. His charisma and strategic mind earned him the loyalty of his troops, who would follow him to the ends of the earth and across the Alps. Hannibal's audacious march into Italy is legendary. In 218 BCE, he set out from Iberia with an army of approximately 50,000 infantry, 9,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants. His goal to strike at the heart of Rome by invading Italy from the north. To achieve this, Hannibal faced a formidable obstacle, the Alps. The journey was harrowing. Hannibal's forces endured freezing temperatures, treacherous terrain, and ambushes by hostile tribes. By the time they descended into the Po Valley, his army was significantly reduced, yet their morale remained high, a testament to Hannibal's leadership. The boldness of the Alpine crossing shocked Rome and demonstrated Hannibal's willingness to defy conventional military wisdom. Hannibal wasted no time asserting his dominance. At the Battle of Trebia in 218 BCE, he lured a larger Roman force into a trap, using the river's freezing waters to weaken the Roman soldiers before launching a devastating attack. The following year, at Lake Trasimene, Hannibal orchestrated one of the largest ambushes in military history, annihilating another Roman army. These early victories showcased his mastery of battlefield tactics and psychological warfare. Despite these triumphs, Hannibal understood that defeating Rome required more than just battlefield victories. Rome's strength lay in its resilience and its ability to raise new armies. To achieve a decisive victory, Hannibal needed to strike a blow so catastrophic that it would shatter Rome's will to fight. That opportunity would come at Cannae. By 216 BCE, Rome had suffered a series of humiliating defeats at the hands of Hannibal. Yet the Republic was far from broken. The Roman Senate, determined to crush Hannibal once and for all, raised a massive army of approximately 86,000 men, the largest force it had ever assembled. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of the war. Hannibal's success was not merely the result of superior tactics, it was also rooted in his ability to manipulate his enemies. He exploited Rome's aggressive tendencies, baiting them into battles on terrain of his choosing. At Cannae, he employed this strategy to perfection. In the months leading up to the battle, Hannibal seized the strategic town of Cannae, a vital supply depot in southern Italy. This move threatened Rome's food supply and forced the Romans to respond. Hannibal's control of the battlefield gave him a crucial advantage. He could dictate the terms of engagement. The Roman Senate appointed two consuls, Lucius Aemilius Paullus and Gaius Terentius Varro, to lead the massive army against Hannibal. However, the dual command structure proved problematic. Paullus was cautious, advocating a defensive strategy, while Varro was eager for an aggressive confrontation. Hannibal exploited this division, anticipating that Varro's impetuousness would play into his hands. While the Romans marched south, Hannibal prepared his forces meticulously. His army, now numbering around 50,000 men, included seasoned veterans from his campaigns in Iberia and Gaul. He carefully positioned his troops to maximize their strengths. His cavalry, particularly the Numidian horsemen, would play a pivotal role in the upcoming battle. Hannibal's logistical prowess was equally impressive. Despite being deep in enemy territory, he ensured his army was well supplied and maintained high morale. His ability to sustain his forces under such conditions highlighted his strategic acumen. Rome's army at Cannae was a formidable force, both in size and discipline. Comprising 80,000 soldiers, it included legions of heavily armed infantry, supported by cavalry and auxiliary troops. Yet its size proved to be both an advantage and a liability. The Roman legions were renowned for their discipline and organization. Their infantry fought in dense formations designed to overpower enemies through sheer force. However, this rigidity made them vulnerable to Hannibal's more flexible and adaptive tactics. The Roman cavalry, while competent, was outclassed by Hannibal's Numidian horsemen. This disparity in cavalry strength would prove decisive at Cannae. Lucius Aemilius Paullus and Gaius Terentius Varro represented two contrasting approaches to warfare. Paullus, a patrician with extensive military experience, favored caution and discipline. Varro, a populist leader, was bold and impetuous. The tension between these two commanders created confusion and undermined the cohesion of the Roman army. Varro's decision to engage Hannibal at Cannae, despite the risks, was driven by a desire to achieve a quick and decisive victory. This overconfidence would play directly into Hannibal's hands. The battlefield at Cannae, located in the Apulian plain of southern Italy, was carefully chosen by Hannibal. The flat, open terrain was ideal for cavalry maneuvers and allowed him to implement his innovative battle plan. Cannae's location near the Aufidus River provided a source of water for Hannibal's troops while limiting the Romans' mobility. The dry, dusty conditions further favored Hannibal, as they would exacerbate the Romans' logistical challenges during the battle. Hannibal deployed his forces in a crescent-shaped formation, with his weakest troops, the Iberian and Gallic infantry, positioned in the center. His veteran African infantry formed the flanks while his cavalry was stationed on the wings. This arrangement was designed to lure the Romans into the center, where they would be surrounded and annihilated. The Romans, confident in their numerical superiority, formed a deep and dense infantry line intending to crush Hannibal's center through brute force. This formation, while powerful in a frontal assault, left the Roman flanks vulnerable, a flaw Hannibal would exploit.
The morning of August 2nd, 216 BCE dawned over the Apulian plain, and with it came the clash of two armies that would define the Second Punic War. Hannibal's forces, numbering around 50,000, faced the massive Roman army of 86,000 men. The battle that unfolded would not only showcase Hannibal's unparalleled brilliance as a tactician, but would also leave an indelible mark on military history. As the armies took their positions, Hannibal's formation betrayed none of the intricate trap he had prepared. His crescent-shaped line placed his weakest troops, the Iberians and Gauls, at the center, while his seasoned African infantry held the flanks. His cavalry, led by the agile Numidian horsemen, guarded the wings. The Romans, under the joint command of Varro and Paullus, advanced with confidence. They placed their heavily armed infantry in a tightly packed formation at the center, intending to smash through Hannibal's lines by sheer weight of numbers. The Roman cavalry, significantly outnumbered and less experienced than Hannibal's, was stationed on the wings, supporting the infantry. As the Romans advanced, Hannibal ordered his center to engage the enemy. The Iberians and Gauls fought fiercely but began a controlled retreat, creating the illusion that Hannibal's line was collapsing. This was a calculated maneuver. The Romans, sensing victory, pressed forward with greater force, driving deep into Hannibal's center. By mid-morning, the Roman infantry had penetrated far into the Crescent. They were so focused on the apparent weakness of Hannibal's center that they failed to notice a critical shift taking place on the flanks. Hannibal's African infantry, stationed on either side of the Crescent, began to pivot inward, forming a pincer around the advancing Romans. While the infantry clashed at the center, the battle on the wings was equally decisive. Hannibal's cavalry, led by his brother Mago and the Numidian commander Maharbal, quickly overwhelmed the Roman cavalry. The Numidian horsemen, renowned for their speed and maneuverability, harassed the Roman flanks relentlessly. By mid-battle, the Carthaginian cavalry had routed their Roman counterparts, leaving Hannibal in complete control of the battlefield's mobility. Instead of pursuing the fleeing Roman cavalry, Hannibal ordered his horsemen to circle around and attack the Roman infantry from behind. This maneuver sealed the fate of the Roman army, cutting off any hope of retreat. As the Carthaginian flanks closed in and the cavalry attacked from the rear, the Roman army found itself completely surrounded. What had begun as an aggressive advance now turned into a nightmare. Hemmed in on all sides, the densely packed Roman soldiers were unable to maneuver or even effectively wield their weapons. Hannibal's forces systematically tightened the noose, compressing the Roman army into an ever smaller space. The African infantry, armed with long spears and disciplined in their ranks, carved through the Roman lines with precision. The Numidian cavalry, darting in and out, sowed chaos among the trapped Romans. The psychological toll on the Roman soldiers was immense. Surrounded and unable to escape, they fought with desperation but to no avail. By late afternoon, the Roman army was a broken, bloodied mass, their fate sealed by Hannibal's masterstroke of encirclement. The Battle of Cannae ended in one of the most catastrophic defeats in Roman history. Of the 86,000 Roman soldiers who entered the battle, estimates suggest that up to 70,000 were killed or captured. The Carthaginians suffered far fewer losses, with approximately 6,000 dead, a testament to Hannibal's strategic brilliance and the discipline of his troops. This was not just a military victory, it was a psychological one. Hannibal had demonstrated that even the mighty Roman war machine could be utterly destroyed under the right conditions. The sheer scale of the slaughter sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic, prompting fear and despair among its citizens and leaders. The victory at Cannae was not merely a product of tactical ingenuity, it was also a testament to Hannibal's unparalleled leadership. His ability to inspire loyalty among his diverse troops, his meticulous planning, and his knack for anticipating his enemy's actions all contributed to his success. Hannibal's understanding of human psychology was evident throughout the battle. By baiting the Romans into overcommitting, he exploited their aggressiveness and turned their numerical superiority into a liability. His calm and composed demeanor during the battle further reinforced his troops' confidence in his leadership. The Battle of Cannae is widely regarded as one of the greatest tactical victories in history. Hannibal's use of the double envelopment maneuver, in which an enemy force is surrounded and destroyed, has been studied and emulated by military leaders throughout the centuries. From Napoleon to von Schlieffen, the lessons of Cannae have shaped the strategies of countless generals. Yet for all its brilliance, Cannae also highlights the limitations of tactical success. Despite his overwhelming victory, Hannibal was unable to capitalize fully on his triumph. Rome's resilience and its ability to raise new armies would ultimately prove insurmountable. The Battle of Cannae left Rome reeling. Never before had the Republic suffered such a devastating loss, both in terms of manpower and morale. For Hannibal, the victory was his crowning achievement, yet it also marked the beginning of a complex chapter in the war. While he had shattered a Roman army, he was unable to shatter Rome itself. Despite the catastrophic loss, Rome displayed an extraordinary ability to recover. The Senate, instead of suing for peace, rallied the Republic with a defiance that would become one of its hallmarks. Quintus Fabius Maximus, who had previously advocated a strategy of attrition against Hannibal, saw his approach vindicated. Known as the Delayer, Fabius had argued against direct confrontation with Hannibal, urging patience and avoidance of large-scale battles. The Roman people, though devastated, showed remarkable resolve. New armies were raised, and the recruitment age was lowered to include boys and older men. Rome even armed slaves to bolster its ranks, a desperate but effective measure. Rather than succumbing to fear, the Republic turned its collective energy toward rebuilding its military and fortifying its cities. For Hannibal, the triumph at Cannae was both a peak and a plateau. While he had dealt a blow that echoed throughout history, he lacked the resources to press his advantage. Hannibal's strategy relied heavily on breaking Rome's alliances with its Italian allies. After Cannae, some southern cities, such as Capua, defected to Hannibal's side. However, the majority of Rome's allies remained loyal, a testament to the Republic's robust network of political and cultural ties. Carthage, meanwhile, failed to provide Hannibal with the reinforcements and resources he desperately needed. The Carthaginian Senate, divided and cautious, hesitated to commit fully to the war effort. Without substantial reinforcements, Hannibal could not mount a direct assault on Rome, a move that might have ended the war. In the aftermath of Cannae, Rome adopted a more cautious and methodical approach to the war. Under Fabius Maximus and later commanders such as Marcus Claudius Marcellus, the Roman military avoided large-scale confrontations with Hannibal. Instead, they focused on harassing his forces, cutting off his supply lines, and regaining control of key territories. This strategy, though slow and arduous, proved effective. Over the next decade, Hannibal's position in Italy gradually weakened. His inability to secure reinforcements, combined with Rome's unrelenting pressure, forced him into a defensive posture. While Hannibal remained in Italy, Rome shifted its focus to other theaters of the war. In Spain, Scipio Africanus, one of Rome's most brilliant generals, achieved a series of victories that crippled Carthage's power base. By 204 BCE, Scipio launched an invasion of North Africa, forcing Carthage to recall Hannibal from Italy. The final showdown came at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE. There, Scipio's innovative tactics and superior cavalry, supported by Numidian allies, delivered a decisive defeat to Hannibal. The Second Punic War ended with Carthage's surrender and the imposition of harsh terms by Rome. Although Hannibal ultimately lost the war, the Battle of Cannae cemented his legacy as one of history's greatest military minds. His use of the double envelopment maneuver became a textbook example of tactical brilliance, studied by generals and scholars for centuries. The lessons of Cannae have been applied in countless battles throughout history. Napoleon Bonaparte and Helmuth von Moltke the Elder were among the many military leaders inspired by Hannibal's tactics. The German Schlieffen Plan during World War I was explicitly modeled on the encirclement strategy used at Cannae, though with far less success. Cannae also highlighted the importance of psychological warfare. Hannibal's ability to manipulate his enemies into making critical mistakes demonstrated the power of deception and misdirection in achieving victory. The battle's scale and drama have made it a subject of fascination for historians, writers, and military enthusiasts. Hannibal's audacity, Rome's resilience, and the sheer magnitude of the slaughter at Cannae continue to captivate audiences to this day. After the war, Hannibal remained a thorn in Rome's side, serving as a statesman in Carthage and later as an advisor to foreign powers. His refusal to surrender to Roman dominance made him a symbol of resistance and defiance. Ultimately, Hannibal took his own life in 183 BCE to avoid capture by the Romans. Hannibal's legacy endures as a testament to the heights of human ingenuity and determination. The Battle of Cannae, in particular, stands as a pinnacle of his career, a moment when one man's vision and leadership reshaped the course of history. The Battle of Cannae is more than a story of tactics and strategy. It is a narrative of ambition, resilience, and the complex interplay of human strengths and flaws. Hannibal Barca, the mastermind behind this extraordinary victory, exemplified the power of ingenuity in the face of overwhelming odds. Cannae's significance lies not just in the scale of its destruction, but in the lessons it offers. Hannibal's ability to outthink and outmaneuver his adversaries underscores the value of adaptability and creativity in achieving success. At the same time, Rome's eventual triumph demonstrates the power of unity, resilience, and the willingness to learn from failure. For modern audiences, the story of Cannae serves as a reminder of the timeless nature of human conflict and the enduring quest for greatness. Hannibal's name remains synonymous with military genius, and the Battle of Cannae continues to inspire and educate those who seek to understand the complexities of leadership and strategy. As we reflect on this pivotal moment in history, we are reminded of the enduring impact of those who dare to challenge the status quo. Hannibal's triumph at Cannae is not just a lesson in warfare, it is a testament to the boundless potential of human ingenuity and determination.